What's going on, everybody? Dots here, and today I have a add-ons and user interface guide for World of Warcraft. One thing that I do get asked about quite a lot on my stream is about my add-ons configuration and just how I have my user interface set up. I try to have an extremely clean UI when I play WoW or any other MMO. I don't like to have a crap load of stuff flying around my screen. I like to keep it pretty simplistic and straight to the point, very efficient, but having all the information I need in a place that's really easy to see it while I'm playing. So I want to just go over how I have my user interface as well as my add-ons set up today, so that if you guys do decide you want to duplicate my user interface, or if you just want a really clean UI for yourself, you can have one with my UI. I'm just going to go over the add-ons that I have first in a list, and then from there we are going to go into the actual settings themselves. So to kick off our add-ons, the first one that we have is Bagnon. Now Bagnon does exactly what it sounds like. It's a bag alteration add-on, and it puts basically all of my bags into one big window, so I don't have all of the individual windows for the different bags, and I find that to be incredibly useful, just because I don't like to have to sift through the individual bags. And these are all part of the Bagnon add-on. It does it for your guild bank, void storage, your bank, and your actual bags. The next add-on that we have is BigDebuffs. Now, what BigDebuffs does is it puts the like any crowd control, defensive buffs, offensive buffs that targets have on themselves, or that you have on yourself, on your unit frame. So for example, let's say I was targeting myself and I got feared by, let's say, a psychic scream from a different priest. I would have a psychic scream on my user interface instead of my character portrait. I find it to be extremely useful for Arena to see if somebody's got a defensive cooldown popped, offensive cooldown popped, or if they're CC'd, to prevent myself from overlapping with a teammate. Now, besides BigDebuffs, we also have Details. Details is your primo DPS add-on. It just shows your DPS meters down here. I have mine at the bottom right. It just shows your damage meters. You could also do healing meters as well to see who is doing the most DPS and the most healing in a group. It also does work in PvP as well, showing you the damage dealt by your enemy, so that if you do get, you are taking a lot of damage from a specific enemy, you can click on their damage bar here and see the kind of damage they have done. The next add-on that we have is Easy Frames. Easy Frames is my unit frame add-on. I love the way this looks, having the health bar be the color of your class. Obviously, if it's a neutral, it's going to be yellow, and enemy, it's going to be red. But I really like having a nice thick health bar with the color of my class. I just like the way that the frames look in general. They're just really, really nice, and have been one of my favorite add-ons for quite a long time. I also do have Gladius. Gladius is my arena add-on. I mean, Gladius is just a tried and tested arena add-on that just shows you your DRs. It shows you buffs and debuffs that the person might have on their unit portrait, shows you their health, resource, class, cast bar, trinket. It just shows a lot of information that's relevant to arena, and is just one of your primo arena add-ons, has been for a long time. So of course I use that when I do arena. I also do use HandyNotes, and then I use any like HandyNotes plugins for, let's say, a specific expansion or a specific thing. So right now I have HandyNotes in the HandyNotes Visions of N'Zoth for 8.3. And basically what this does is it shows handy notes on the map to show you where certain things are, to just make it easier to find them when you're adventuring. So for example, I can see, any rares here. I can see the caches. It just makes doing a lot of things around these areas where you're doing a lot of flying and a lot of searching, just makes it a lot easier to be able to look at your map and see those notes. I have KuiNameplates. KUI is my nameplates add-on. I used to be a huge fan of tidy plates way back in the day, but now that those don't really exist anymore, KUI has become my kind of favorite substitute. And what I like about it is not only does it make the unit frames look really nice, it will show you any debuffs above your enemy's head, show you a countdown timer on them if you're a rogue. It'll also show combo points generated. Another good thing is that if they have any dispellable buffs on them, you can have it show right above the dots, which is what I do because, I'm playing a Shadow Priest. So if I want to be able to dispel with my Dispel Magic, dispel any buffs that my opponents might have, I'm able to see them very quickly with KUI nameplates. I have Lorti UI, which is giving my user interface the nice night mode appearance that it has. I really, really like Lorti UI. I know a lot of people love Elv UI. I've been getting a lot of questions. Why don't you use this? Why don't you use this? But I really don't mind the default Blizzard appearance of the game. Like, I really actually like it, to be honest. They've really improved it over time and have kind of streamlined the positions of a lot of things. And I really actually, I don't mind how the default Blizzard user interface works. And Lorti UI just darkens it, makes it look a little bit cooler. And so I use it for that reason. The next add-on that we have is OmniBar. So I have OmniBar usually kind of appear right here at the bottom of my screen. I'll show you guys some positions later when we go through the specific configurations. But basically what I have is that add-on shows enemy cooldowns. So for myself, I use it primarily for kicks and hard CC. That's typically what I track with OmniBar for Arena. We also do have OmniCD. Some people use Arena Team Tracker. I use OmniCD. Just tracks party cooldowns. You can, add or take some away. You can kind of check them off. Use whatever ones you want. So you can keep track of whatever you want for your teammates inside of a party. I have Postal for my mailbox add-on. It just basically makes it so that I can, open all of my mail with a single click. It'll be open all mail button. I just click that and bam, it opens it all. The next add-on that I have is TomTom. TomTom is what I use for coordinates in World of Warcraft. You can see I have at the top left, I have my current coordinates for the zone that I am in. And TomTom just makes it really easy to find things on the map. When people give you coordinates, you can set waypoints. That will, literally set a marker on your map, and there'll be a little arrow that shows you where to go. But being that sites like Wowhead will typically use coordinates for things, it's really helpful to have an add-on like this, just so you can know exactly where things are, and you don't have to try to, figure it out and guess. And then the final add-on that I have is Deadly Boss Mods, which is, of course, the raiding and dungeons add-on that you use that gives you all the heads up and whatnot for whatever dungeon or raid you might be doing. Gives you warnings for all the mechanics, and so DBM is what I use there. So that's the list of my add-ons. We're going to go into our setup real quick. I'm going to start with my base game settings, though, before we go into the specific add-on settings. I uncheck sticky targeting. I have auto loot turned on with the loot key to shift key. In terms of combat, I do have target of target shown, loss of control alerts shown, scrolling combat text for self. I do like to have this checked just so that I'm able to see the combat text on myself, because sometimes if I'm looking at my character, I want to be able to see if I'm being damaged or healed. I have my self-cast set to control, auto self-cast checked on. Display, I have quest objective and mouse over, so basically just the default. Raid self-highlight is off. Status text, I do both on here. Chat bubbles, I do exclude party chat. Rotate menu, I have all this unchecked. Social, I keep the spam filter turned on, but I turned off the mature language filter. I also turned off the toast window, and then I show real ID requests, battle tag requests, offline friends, online friends, IM style chat timestamps, and new whispers in line. For the action bars, I use the bottom left, bottom right, right bar, and right bar 2. Always show action bars, and I always show number for cooldowns. And I do lock my action bars to make it so that I can't accidentally move anything while I am playing. I don't stack my bars vertically. I can with my monitor, but I rather just have them next to each other personally. In terms of names, I show friendly players and minions, enemy players and minions. I always show nameplates. I always like to have my nameplate showing while I'm playing. Enemy units, I do minions and minor. Larger nameplates flash on aggro loss, and then I use overlapping nameplates personally. I don't like the stacking nameplates. And then I show names for all NPCs. In terms of camera, I did not change anything here. Mouse, I did not change anything here. I do all my mouse settings inside of my mouse drivers. This has not changed. And now I do use raid style party frames at the top right here. I get asked about that a lot. Why do your party frames look different? I do use the raid style party frames. And I have checked display incoming heals, power bar, aggro highlight, class colors, show debuffs, and display only dispellable debuffs, just so that I know while I am playing, if somebody has a disease on them that I can dispel, I am able to see that really, really quick. I show health percentage, and then I have it to the H in height and the H in width just for the general size. In terms of add-ons, I made no changes to Bagnon, tooltip item count, flash finder, the only things that are turned on. I mean, everything else, I'm pretty sure I just left it at default. Didn't really change anything. In terms of BigDebuffs, I did not change anything here. I pretty much just installed it and let it do its thing. If you do want to make any changes, though, there's one thing I think anybody would want to change. It would probably be in the priorities. And basically what you're going to want to do is here, you will change the different priorities for how you want things to be shown on top. So let's say, for example, someone's afflicted by a root and a offensive buff. It's going to show the offensive buff on the unit frame as opposed to the root. But if you make the root a higher priority than the offensive buff, it'll show the root instead, just as an example. But if you can mess with these priorities. I just left it as is. So I didn't really change a whole lot there. When you do install Details, Details is going to give you a little questionnaire for how you want it particularly set up. So you can just do their questionnaire there. And from there, you can just, make it look however you want. I changed the size of the actual bars themselves. So I made the bar height 20. I think besides that, I didn't really change a whole lot. Just the bar height, just because I wanted to have it a little bit smaller, just because I didn't want to make the window all that big. So I'm pretty sure that is all I did in that department. So yeah, that's pretty much it for Details. But like I said, just go through the questionnaire, go through the actual, like the wizard to set it up, and you'll pretty much be good to go. In terms of easy frames, there isn't a whole lot I changed here. I do use class colored health bars, highlight dispellable buffs. That's a really, really good one. Really like this one. Just again, makes it easier to see if I can actually dispel things. For player frame scale, this is really the only stuff I changed. I did 1.1 for the player, for the target, and for the focus. Otherwise I pretty much left everything at a default, but I just wanted to make the unit frames a tiny bit bigger, so I did make them, I think actually they defaulted to 1.2, so I actually turned them into 1.1, so I actually probably made them a little bit smaller. In terms of HandyNotes, not really a lot I changed here. I just kind of installed it and let it do its thing. Same thing with Lorti UI. With OmniBar, I'll go over OmniBar and KUI last. OmniCD, did not change anything with that either. TomTom, I think the only thing that I did was I unlocked the actual, it'll show you like a waypoint here as a default, and I moved that to right next to my mini map, so like right where my debuffs go. I moved it about there, just so it'd be like a little bit below the debuff, so I have it right there. But besides that, not really a whole lot I did with it. The big, as you can tell, like I pretty much like to install plug and play add-ons. The only thing that I did in terms of major changes would be to KUI and to OmniBar. So for OmniBar, I will show you guys all the skills that I personally have tracked. And I do have the bar right here. It would never usually be this large. It's only going to show probably one row, but I show it right below my cast bar. And so the way that I do it is I have Mind Freeze and Asphyxiate for Death Knight, Bell Eruption, Disrupt, and Chaos Nova for Demon Hunter. I have Mighty Bash and Skull Bash and Solar Beam for Druid. For Hunter, I have Intimidation, Freezing Trap, Muzzle, and Counter Shot. For Mage, I think I only have Counter Spells tracked. For Monk, I have Spear Hand Strike, Paralysis, Leg Sweep. For Paladin, I have Avenger Shield, Hammer of Justice, and Rebuke. For Priest, I have Mind Bomb, Psychic Scream, Psychic Horror, and Silence. For Rogue, I have Kick, Kidney, and Blind. For Shaman, I have Cap Totem, Wind Shear, and I have Hex. For Warlock, I went with the, their kick, their ranged kick, as well as the Mortal Coil and Shadow Fury. And then for Warrior, I went with Pummel. And I think, I actually forgot to do Warrior when I did it. We're also going to do Intimidating Shout. And we are going to do Stormbolt. So just we'll be able to track their fear, their stun, and their kick. So as you can tell, I pretty much like to just go with CCs and with kicks. That's what I like to track with my OmniBar. Now, in terms of KUI, this is how I have mine set up. I have state icons, target glow, mouse over highlight, and frame shadow all checked. I have my fade rules. I have 0.6 non-target alpha, 0.3 conditional alpha, and 0.3 animation speed with in-name only and with raid icon shown. For health bars, I have KUI status bar, cutaway, show absorb, striped absorb text, enable execute range, auto detect range, class color hostile players, and class color self. For cast bars, I have everything checked except for on personal frame with spell icons on the left side. For text, I went with 11 font size, 10 small font size, show name text, hide non-tracked names, white names on health bars, and class color friendly names. For name only, I have everything checked up top except for neutral enemies, hostile players, and attackable. I think I just left this default. And then down below, I have health color and show NPC titles. For frame sizes, this is another one that I adjusted. I did 132 frame width, 15 frame height, same for the personal frame. For the minus frames, which are like weaker mobs, I did 80 width and 12 height. For elements, I did 3 power bar height and 8 frame glow with 1 global scale. For auras, I show auras, show purge, and show on personal frames. with pulsate, center, align. I don't think I really changed this at all. Threat didn't tank at all. You can obviously mess with this if you are a tank if you'd like to. Class powers, I show class resource, show on target. Boss mods, enable boss mod communication, allow boss mods to control nameplate visibility. 32.0.35. And then CVARs I did not change. But that is pretty much it, guys. That is my user interface. This is where my target and focus are, just in case you want to see what that looks like. So like when I am in arena, it'll look like this. So I'm able to very easily kind of track things, and I have all my my cast bars shown below. So this is kind of how I like to have my stuff shown up, because I like my character in the middle. I like to have my unit frame and the enemies on the left here with Gladius on the right. Just makes, I think, easier, in my opinion, to keep track of kind of where everything is. But like I said, guys, that is going to be it for me today and my user interface guide. I hope that you did find this helpful, and I hope that you do enjoy the UI. If you do have it set up, let me know how you are enjoying it. If you have any questions about setting this up, let me know. To install these add-ons, I do use the Twitch desktop program. I just use that, and you're able to install all of your WoW mods through that. So feel free to use that to do your add-ons, or you could do them manually. Manually is really not that bad, but I use the manager through Twitch to do it myself. But if you guys do have any questions, though, feel free to leave them below. Subscribe to keep up to date with the WoW content on the channel. And yeah, appreciate you guys stopping by very, very much. Thank you all, and I will see everybody next time.